Let me first thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to be present here before this August gathering. I'm really delighted to see such a gathering here. And I thank you for the introduction given by the organizers. So this conference is about rail and metro. And what is common between these two, rail and metro, other than that both are connected to railway technology? What is the common thread between these two? I understand this is that both the systems are environment friendly. They are the most environment friendly land-based transportation system. So everybody knows that both are environment friendly, but how much carbon emission is saved when you travel by railways, when you transport your cargo by railways? Do we know that? We are thrown some figures that railways are 6 times environment friendly than roadways, but how much carbon we are saving? Do we know that? So this is the background of this initiative. So railway has decided that we will tell our customers, our esteemed customers who are transporting cargo with railways, that how much carbon you are saving by this decision to transport by railways. So I'll be making a small presentation on this scheme, and I'll be mindful of the fact that I am the first speaker, so I have to maintain the time limits. So I'll be talking about Indian Railway freight business very briefly, how much carbon emission is there from transportation sector, the policy of Indian Railways about rail green points, how it is being calculated. There's a smart freight calculator on railway website, briefly about that, and what are the benefits of the scheme. So many of you may be aware that Indian Railways route kilometers, 68,000 kilometers. We run around 5,000 freight trains daily. Last financial year, we loaded 1,418 million ton of the cargo and earned a revenue of 1,43,000 crores. That is around 19 billion US. We have more than 3,000 freight terminals from where this loading takes place, and we have 14,000 freight customers whom we are serving. Freight business accounts for 3/4 of the revenue of Indian Railways. This figure is for last financial year, 2021-22. But normally, because of the pandemic, our passenger earning was low. But in normal course, we earn 2/3 of our revenue from freight. So that is the bread and butter of railways. If we talk about the carbon emission, transportation sector accounts for 1/5 of the carbon emission, total carbon emission. And out of this 1/5, the road sector contributes 74.5% of the carbon emission. Railways is responsible only for 1% of the carbon emission from the transportation sector. So the key to become environment friendly is to move from roadways to railways. So these are some statistics, like as per the German study, rail freight is 6 times less carbon carbon emission is 6 times less by railways as compared to truck. But there's a cause of concern. That is that our market share of railways is going down. In 1950s, we were transporting around 85% of the cargo, which has come down to 30%. Although every year in volumes we are increasing, but in terms of market share, our market share has already come down to 30%. So there is a cause of concern for carbon emissions. As part of India's intended nationally determined contributions, we have committed that we will reduce our carbon intensity emissions by 33% by 2030 as compared to 2005. So, but for this, to meet these targets, transportation sector is the most important sector. In line with these INDCs, Indian Railway has targeted to enhance our market share from 30% at present to 45% in 2030. So how to increase this market share? Of course, we are providing a number of freight incentive schemes, but to sensitive customers, to environmental, those customers who feel that they are responsible towards environment, we have come up with this scheme that will inform them how much carbon they are saving by this decision to move cargo by train. So that is This rail green point is saving in carbon emission in terms of tons of CO2 as compared to if a transportation is done by road. So this is difference of the two. How much carbon emission would have been there if you move by road and how much it is there when you move by rail. So difference of the two is termed as rail green points. That is your contribution in carbon saving in terms of tons of CO2. And this is whenever a person moves cargo by railways and railway receipt is generated. On railway receipt itself, we print that so much carbon you have saved and you have earned so many rail green points. This was implemented in year from 1st April 2022. And at the time of booking also. So RR is prepared when you move, you have loaded the cargo, you have paid the freight. But at the time of booking the cargo also, the customer is told that how much saving it is that you are contributing to. So like at the time of booking, the person is prompted that by opting for transportation by railways, you are saving 44 tons of carbon emission. And it is also printed on the electronic railway receipt and in terms of the total rail green points that you have earned. We have provided an account also to every customer who is registered on our freight IT website. Every customer has been given a rail green point account, and whenever he moves something by railways, these rail green points are accounted or credited into the rail green point account of the customer. But this scheme is available only to the customers who are registered on our portal, who are placing their demand digitally. And we also show them how much is, monthly comparison, like in month of April, how much you have earned, in May, how much you have earned. So that kind of comparative analysis is also being shown to the customers. We also give them certificate of appreciation in terms of the how many RGPs they have saved. Methodology we have adopted, we have taken it from TERI and GIZ. They have developed a calculator, CGH calculator, and we are taking figures from the CHG calculator. So the emission factor that we have incorporated are like for rail, the carbon emission is 0.009 kilogram CO2 per ton kilometer per NTKM, and for road it is 0.04 kilogram CO2 per ton kilometer. So road is 4.4 times more, it emits 4.4 times more carbon as compared to rail. We have a smart freight calculator on Indian Railway freight website. There's a calculator that is being used to calculate the freight charges. Along with that, we also show our customer that how much rail green point you will earn for a particular movement from origin to destination, freight charges, as well as how much will be the carbon saving. So that is also part of our freight calculator. Benefits, like we are informing our customers, they can make informed decision while going for the selection of the mode of transportation. These days, many of the corporates are socially responsible. They would like to present these figures in their annual sustainability reports. So that helps, this RGPs helps them. Reduction of carbon emission, more if we are encouraging people to move more by railways, so it will help us in carbon emission. In fact, recently I was having some discussions with some e-commerce companies. So in parcel business, we don't have these RGPs these days, but they were asking when you will bring rail green points in the parcel business, because most of the e-commerce business is being moved through parcels. It will help us in boosting digitalization, because this scheme is available only for registered customers, online registered customers. So it will encourage people to register online and then use digital services. Ultimately, it should help us in increasing the market share of Indian Railways. This is today's figure. We have from 1st April 2022, we have already accounted for 9 million rail green points. This is for today. Till date, from 1st April 2022. So where this scheme got very wide coverage by media also, everybody appreciated, and of course our customers are very happy with this scheme. We are also planning to bring something of similar kind in passenger segment. We have already got these emission factors from Terry, that how much is the passenger emissions per PKM, per passenger kilometer. And soon we will be coming up with similar kind of scheme for passenger segment also. So where this idea originally came from? So once while I was traveling in Europe, I found that on a ticket, it was mentioned that how much carbon you have emitted because you are traveling by air. So, and then I found that on Google Flights, you can see if you search any flight between any origin and destination, it does not only give you the charges, that tariff, it also gives you how much carbon emission will be there. So if it is for a particular OD, so this is the carbon emission that will be there due to flying. And then you can also select a flight which will cause minimum carbon emission. So that kind of filter is also available. So and it also shows you that typically how much is the carbon emission, and the flight you have selected, how much will be the carbon emission, and then how much carbon you are saving by selecting a particular flight. This is again a news item where US domestic travelers, they know that which is the low emission flight and they can select out of that. So this is one of the initiatives that Railways has taken to make customers aware about the carbon emissions. So motto is live green, love green, be green, and we are just mankind. Without the earth, we are nothing. So everybody, all of us have to be responsible towards the earth and be environment friendly. Thank you, friends.